Hello, ladies and gentlemen. MarauderEX here, back with another gaming nostalgia story. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. So, I never had a SNES growing up. I didn't get one until much later. So, I missed out playing a lot of these games for the first time when they were, in their heyday. But at one point in time, I met some new friends, and we were living in an apartment complex together. Both of us were waiting on our houses to be built. Both our parents just, purchased new houses, and they were in the process of building. And so we were in the same apartment complex, and ironically enough, we had the same last name, just for a minor spelling difference. And so we got along really well. We went to the same school and became really good friends. And the catalyst for our friendship was gaming. He had never really played RPGs before, and so I introduced him to RPGs, and it was very much a like, I can show you the world, or come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. It was very interesting to see someone who had never played RPGs, but had, like, that same kind of... He and I were both the same type of dork, which is why we got along so well, and why we pissed each other off so much. It's because we were the same type of dork. And, he had a SNES, I had a Genesis at the time, and we decided, you've never played RPGs, I've never really gotten a chance to enjoy SNES games, in their, like I said, in their heyday. And so he loans me his SNES, I loan him my Genesis. He plays Shining Force 2. That's the game that gets him into RPGs. And we exchange systems, and I play Yoshi's Island, because this is one of the games that he had that I'm like, I'm actually really interested in playing this game, and I never got a chance to. So I'm curious to play it, and he proceeds to just destroy Shining Force 2. He had a much different playstyle than I did, but he gets through the entirety of the game. I don't beat Yoshi's Island, because he spends a lot more time playing than I do, and we run into a small snag while living in this apartment, because at this point in time, we live in North Carolina at this point, and this particular year, we get one of the worst hurricanes on record. Kind of tear through our neck of the woods. And so for over a week, we are without power. Thankfully, we have water, but we have no power. And so, like, obviously, you can't play games while you don't have power, just unless you have a backup generator. So he just beat Shining Force 2, and we're sitting here discussing it, and I'm learning, his play style is much different than mine. He very heavily focused with spellcasters, whereas I more go for melee units, and that's the start of a friendship that lasted for a really long time. We still talk to each other, just not nearly as much these days, because, we're adults, and, real life kind of becomes a thing that it's really hard to plan around. In fact, he's got a family now. He got married and had a kid, and that's just a whole lot of, time that you don't have as much to play video games, because, kids kind of, take up a lot of time and, energy, and require, a lot of work and effort so that you're not, a crap parent. And he is by no means a crap parent. I always knew he was going to be a really good parent. So I'm very happy that, his family is growing. Because he and I, like I said, we were really good friends for basically the entire time growing up. So it was a really interesting experience because we were both dorks in a school that kind of hated dorks, and a time that hated dorks. We were not well liked by, our peers because we were, those dorky guys, didn't really care about sports. We just, had fun playing games. So, but I will, very easily remember playing Yoshi's Island and, having a new experience while hearing his take on RPGs and the fact that he's like, yeah, I've never played an RPG before. This is new to me. I'm really excited about this, and seeing the differences in strategy, and it's really my first experience with having people that talking to people who had much different strategic mindsets than I did. Because most of the friends that I knew that played Shining Force had very similar strategic mindsets to me. So it was it was refreshing to see a different take on it. And then he would show me all of the secrets and things for Yoshi's Island, like where all the coins were, flowers, things like that. It was fun, getting a completely different viewpoint on games like that. So I was really excited to have a new friend that I could say, hey, what about this? What about that? How would be the best way to do this? What do I need to do for this level? Oh, what you need to do in this fight is this or that, or look out for this, this booby trap that they're going to do. It was interesting, and that was the basis of our friendship for a really long time. We played a lot of video games, a lot of RPGs. He actually picked up Chrono Trigger from another mutual friend of ours shortly after, and that was, I believe, the second RPG he ever played was Chrono Trigger, and helping him through that was a really actually rewarding process, like because it allowed me to play through the game again and enjoy it and see it from a completely different perspective, which is one of the reasons why I got into Let's Playing, is so that I can play a game and people could see my playthrough and my experiences and my mindset of a game, and I can talk to people about their mindsets and their experiences, which is kind of why I'm doing the nostalgia stories like this, because it gives me a chance to share my stories, my experiences, and hear other people's experiences with it. And I was really excited because, like I said, I never had a SNES. My experience was I get to play. That was complete luck. I get to play SNES games, when a friend has a SNES, and I can go over and hang out with them, and that's my only real experience. So it was fun, just completely switching sides of, oh, well, I get to play a SNES this time, you get to try out a Genesis, and, we were, kids of the opposite camp. And I think it's experiences like that kind of made me really become the type of gamer I am today, where it's like I fanboy out about, certain things, but I keep an open mind. I don't judge things based off of, a particular particular developer or publisher or anything like that. I don't say, oh, well, it's a Nintendo game, so obviously it's going to be terrible. It's going to be only for kids, or like, I refuse to play a Microsoft game because I know it's going to be, too dark and gritty, and it's going to sacrifice its own enjoyment to, be a quote mature title. Anything like that, because I got to experience, I know a lot of kids didn't get to experience things like that. They didn't get to play on both camps. It was either one or the other. It's like you either got a SNES or you got a Genesis, and that was what you got. And I really think that's what kind of, developed the console wars of the 90s, of that mindset of you get one or the other, because these are luxury purchases. You only get that. And like I said, it allowed me to introduce a friend to something that otherwise they would never have been able to try out. It gave both of us the ability to be like, hey, yeah, have you tried this game? No, have you tried that game? No, alright, well, let's switch. See if you like this one. And, there were some SNES games that he had that I was not a fan of over time. I really don't remember what they were. Just like I ended up getting games that he did not enjoy. Like, once I got my Saturn, he really did not care much for Sonic 3D Blast. And to be fair, I really didn't care much for Sonic 3D Blast either. But it allowed us to, broaden our horizons on genres and games that we otherwise wouldn't be able to play. And so I was really excited about that, and that friendship meant a metric ton to me growing up, because honestly, without him, I really don't think I would have got through a lot of the experiences that I had to deal with. And he was very similar. Like, there were a lot of experiences that he and I both had to deal with that, had it not been for the other, it would have been a really, really bad time. So we got through a really crappy series of adolescence, because otherwise you're just gonna be that outsider, that outcast. And for a long time we were. And it was really entertaining, actually, that happened, because shortly after that is when Final Fantasy VII came out, and all of the people who used to, mock us for enjoying games, bought into the hype of Final Fantasy VII. And that's actually a story for another video. I'm going to talk about that. So I don't want to ruin too much of it. But, thanks to this friend, I was able to enjoy some SNES games, closer to their original release date, rather than, a decade later, in some cases. So, I was really grateful for that, and really grateful to, meet a new friend that I was able to introduce a hobby that I enjoyed. And after, getting him into RPGs, he and I did a lot of tabletop gaming together. We did a lot of card games. We played, like, Magic the Gathering and things like that. Just basically anything that a dork could do in that time frame, in those years. We were Pokemon when it came out. He got into that, and things like that. It was anime. We got into anime together. Like, we would go to Blockbuster and rent really crappy anime. So it was fun finding, that type of that type of friend that, you didn't realize how much you have in common until you learn about someone else's experiences, someone else's interests. Like, I probably would not have gotten into half the games that I got into if it weren't for his suggestions, and I think vice versa. So that was a good time for me, when it was not a good time for me. As it was a period of time when I was not, the best of human beings. So really grateful, to that particular friend. So, and if he watches this, he's probably going to know who he is. So I'm not going to name names, but thank you for that. We should talk more, for one, and I wish you and your family the best. So, yeah, that's... and I want to hear everyone else's stories. If you have a story about, maybe you got to exchange game systems, or got to play games with friends that otherwise you normally wouldn't have played yourself, and that got you into a different genre of gaming. Maybe you didn't play FPSs. That's actually how I got into FPSs as well. A friend of mine got me into FPSs and RTSs. I could talk about those as well. That might be topics for future videos. But some of my friends got me into games that I never thought I would play otherwise. So let me know your stories. Let me know your experiences. Tell me, one of your defining moments in gaming that maybe a friend of yours clued you into a game that otherwise you never would have heard of, or let you borrow their Genesis or SNES or PlayStation or whatever, and you got hooked on it when you didn't think there was going to be anything you would have enjoyed, and it kind of changed your perspective on things. So, let me know your stories. Post them as a comment in the video description, or in the comment section below, or make a video and send me a link to it, and I will do my best to link it to this video so that others can see and share as well, and, we can build back up, an interesting sense of community within gaming that's not always focused on the negative. It may not be a good story, but, not all of life is good. So, let me know. Talk to me. Let me hear your experiences, and I will see you in the next Gaming Nostalgia story. So, till then, later, everyone.